Monday, October 10th, 2016. Monaco 64 here, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So I talk a lot about central banks in my videos and how fraudulent the central banking system is, mainly because a central bank is a cartel or a monopoly given by government. It gives the central bank the monopoly to create money out of thin air. And the other problem with central banks morally is the moral hazard. They give banks the cushion to be able to act irresponsibly because they know that the central banks will have their backs, the banks. And we saw that in 2008. The investment banks, commercial banks in the US, UK, Europe, Iceland, they all were acting completely recklessly, and they were like drunken sailors gambling with depositors' money, and they had, no, how can I say, no responsible acts. They didn't act responsibly. So what did the central banks do and the governments? They bailed them out. So central banks, yes, in my book, they're a scourge. And if you look as well, back in the 20th century, World War I, when did that start? 1914. When was the Federal Reserve, founded? Well, the Federal Reserve Act was Christmas 1913, and then it started running in 1914. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. And the reason I'm bringing back the central bank question is that today there's an article in the Financial Times, and I quote, it says, Deutsche Bank was given special treatment in EU stress tests. And it says, German lenders' result was boosted by a special concession agreed by the European Central Bank. So the FT actually is being very kind to the European Central Bank. What the European Central Bank did is they cheated to make Deutsche Bank look what it's not. And they've actually fooled the public, they fooled investors, they fooled the shareholders of Deutsche Bank. Will anything happen to the ECB or, their president, Mario Draghi? I don't know. So I read a little bit of the article here from the FT. It says, Deutsche Bank was given special treatment in the summer EU stress tests that promised to restore faith in Europe's banks by assessing all of their finances in the same way. But they got special treatment. Germany's biggest lender, which has seen its share price fall as much as 22% in recent weeks on fears that it could face a U.S. fine of up to $14 billion, has been using the results of the July stress test as evidence of its healthy finances. But the Financial Times has learned that Deutsche's results was boosted by a special concession agreed by its supervisor, the European Central Bank. And it goes on to say, Deutsche's results included the $4 billion proceeds from selling its stake in Chinese lender Huaxia, even though the deal had not been done by the end of 2015, the official cutoff point for transactions to be included. So this just goes to show that the rule of law is only for us, the general public, not for the elite, not for the bankers, not for the central banks, not for Hillary Clinton, who destroyed evidence that was subpoenaed by the US Congress, 33,000 emails. So that's why people are angry. That's why we had Brexit. That's why I think Donald Trump will probably win. When you have institutions like the ECB, the FBI, basically flaunting the rule of law, and committing fraud like the ECB has, what can you expect? So that's what I wanted to talk about. You know, you can't trust central banks. And as Jim Sinclair said, you've got to be your own central bank. And what does that mean? That means stacking as much silver and gold as you can possibly stack, and to have as little of your wealth or money in these banks. I know people need to, you know, pay bills and stuff through the banks, but keep as little as possible. So the other news overnight or this weekend was that Deutsche Bank hasn't come to an agreement with the DOJ in the US. So Deutsche Bank earlier today was down 3%, but now, you know, it's up 2%. So what can you say? It's probably the ECB, you know, buying stock in Deutsche Bank. I don't know. Yeah, another reason why central banks need to be abolished. And I think, well, the Bank of England is over 300 years old, so it's a very ingrained institution in the UK, but the Federal Reserve would be easier to abolish. It's only been around for 102 years. So that's what I wanted to talk about. So the ECB basically lied about Deutsche Bank in its stress test. They basically gave it a special treatment so that it wouldn't look as crappy, you know, as it should. So if you enjoy my videos, please like, share them, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And if you'd like to donate to my channel, there's some links below in the description. Thanks for watching. Bye.